Next presenter is Dr. Likitha Reddy, student of Dr. Mahapatra and Ravi Kumar from Jipmar Institute of Pondicherry. Likitha, she'll be presenting on radial polydactyly, duplication thumb.
Okay.
Good evening, sir. Is my screen visible, sir?
The screen is visible, but your voice is very soft.
Yes, sir. So now, sir?
Very good.
Yeah, it's better.
Yes, sir.
Can you make full screen? Yeah.
Good evening, my mentors. I'm Dr. Likitha. I'm from JIPMA. I'm third year SR. I will be presenting about radial polydactyly. The case details given to me were this. It was a 9-year-old male child with the following pictures. How will I proceed? I would like to first introduce the patient. So I'd like to know about the name, age, gender, the address, the handedness of the child, and if the child is school going, I would like to know how is the performance in school and which class he is studying, so that I would know what is the if he is mentally. I mean, if this mental age is same as his. Physiological age. Then I would like to know about the history provided, if it is provided by the child or the parents. Coming to the chief complaints, I would like to know about the presence of the extra finger. Usually, the parents will come with presence of extra finger, the difficulties faced due to the extra finger, and the performance in the school, both in studies and in sports. In sports, I would like to know specifically because that would help me rule out the congenital heart anomalies. Coming to the history of presenting illness, in that I would like to know the antenatal history, the perinatal history, and the postnatal history. In the antenatal, I would like to know the consanguinity of marriage, age of the parents at the time of birth, spontaneous or IVF conception, any problems during pregnancy, specifically fever, drug consumption, or radiation exposure. Perinatal history, delivery via C-section or vaginal delivery, and postnatal if the child was in ICU or if the extra finger was noticed by parents of the doctor. The presence of the extra finger, I would like to know how, if there is any difficulty in movement, difficulty in pinch and holding objects, deviation of the thumb, and if there is any reduced sensation. I would also like to know about the performance in school and sports, as I mentioned, both for if to rule out any mental retardation, and also for other congenital heart anomalies, congenital anomalies in common. I would also like to know difficulty in wearing shoes because it might be associated with polydactyly of the feet, and the psychosocial aspect of if the child is being bullied by the peers. In the past history, I would like to know if any previous surgery or splinting was done, any family history of similar complaints because it is known to be familial, and the developmental history and immunization history and personal history of depression if the child is slightly elder. Coming to the examination, this is in this child, sir, I have made a general examination. So it will be a 9-year-old male child who's moderately built and nourished and is conscious, core, and well-oriented time, place, and person. The vitals are stable. In the head-to-toe examination, one thing I would like to know is the pallor, especially because it's a 9-year-old child. I would like to rule out Fanconi's anemia. The others are common features. Then in systemic examination, one thing I would like to know is the CVS, where the VSD or the ASD. I would like to know about the murmurs in the systemic examination. Other than that, bilateral for the respiratory system, per abdomen, nothing major, sir. Then coming to the local examination, in this child, first I would like to examine the left hand because I am assuming that it will be a left-handed child. So there appears to be a split thumb at the level of proximal phalanx with absent creases over the dorsal and the ventral aspect. The size of the thumb at the distal portion appears to be smaller compared to the child of same stature. There is angulation between the plane of the hand and the ulnar placed thumb, which is about 45 degrees, and that of the radially placed thumb is 90 degrees. The web space appears to be normal between the ulnar placed digit and the index finger. The rest of the hand appears normal. The other things I would like to assess are the joint status, movement, sensation, vascularity, and attachment of the thenar muscles in this patient, in this hand. In the right hand, there is broadened short thumb with deviation of the thumb, which is radial, radially deviated at the level of the MCP joint. There is absence of creases over the thumb, more on the volar aspect. On the dorsal aspect, we can see some faint creases. There is reduced first web space. There is broadened nail plate, and there is an angulation between the axis of the thumb and the plane of the hand is about 60 degrees, while the angulation that is seen at the tip is about 45 degrees from the angle of the thumb. Then the rest of the hand appears normal. To summarize, my patient is Master ABC, a 9-year-old male child, resident of Kochi, school going, studying 4th standard, who is left-handed, firstborn child of parents of age 21 and 26, father and mother, via full-term normal vaginal delivery born of a non-consanguineous marriage. The child is brought by the parents with complaints of extra thumb over the left hand, and a broad bent right thumb since birth. And on examination, the child has no other features of congenital anomalies. Other than that, there is a broad, short, deviated right thumb with a broad nail and a bifid left thumb at the level of proximal phalanx. So my provisional diagnosis based on this would be a congenital, non-syndromic, non-familial, bilateral preaxial polydactyly. For the right thumb, it would be a synpolydactyly with clinodactyly, and the left thumb is a vessel type 4 or type 5. So shall I proceed to the investigations? Or?
Hari, you are muted.
Dr. Hari will lead the discussion.
Yes. Yeah, so you finish investigation, then we'll...
Yes, sir. For investigations, I would like to get an X-ray of the hand. Both in anterior-posterior view is more important, but we can also get an oblique view, and the MRI of the hand to look for the ligaments and the tendon attachments. Chromosomal analysis in few patients whenever there is a syndromic association. To rule out other syndromes, I'd like to get a chest X-ray, 2D echo, ECG, ultrasound abdomen, X-ray of the feet, and psychometric analysis. In the X-ray, this was provided.
1 minute. Psychometric for what?
Sir, in syndromic associations, when there is Vacral syndrome or when there is charge syndrome, so there might be mental retardation. So in those patients, I would like to get a psychometric analysis.
Nice. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Coming to the X-ray, the left hand, we can see all the distal end of the radius and the ulna, the carpal bones, metacarpals, and the phalanges. There is a deviated metaphalanx, which is first metacarpal, which is rotated. In the line of the metacarpal along the joint, the proximal and the distal phalanges are seen. There is a digit that seems to be arising from the radial aspect with 3 phalanges. The ulnar digit is in the oblique view. We can see that the ulnar digit is moving for the pinch. Epiphysis of all the fingers appears normal, and the rest of the hand otherwise appears normal. X-ray of the right hand. We can see the both the radius and the ulnar distal end, the carpal bones, metacarpals, and the phalanges. We can see that the metacarpal is slightly broadened at the tip. The proximal phalanx is short and appears to be delta-shaped. There is a fused, malformed, split distal phalanx. The epiphysis of all the fingers except the distal phalanx of the right thumb appears normal, and the rest of the hand appears normal. Sir, shall I proceed to the reconstruction? Yes, sir. So the aim of reconstruction in this patient is to preserve the functional thumb and to reposition the ligaments, tendons, and also to give a aesthetic appearing nail. The repositioning of the thenar muscles is more important for type 4 and 5, and for also stabilizing the joint and providing an adequate soft tissue cover. So the approach for this would be in a non-syndromic child, like in my patient, I would like to do a functional reconstruction. If the child had come to me initially, immediately after birth, then I would have done splinting for up to 6 months. However, now at this stage, I would like to assess the functional status of the, I like to assess the joint and the thumb, and then plan for reconstruction. in in both the thumb, whichever is more functional and more since I'm assuming it to be a left-handed child, I would like to see which of the split thumb is more functional, and I would like to preserve that. In the X-ray, we could see that the ulnar thumb was more, it was moving a lot for the pinch. So I would like to preserve that. That will also help in preserving the ulnar collateral ligament, which is stronger. So I would like to excise the radially placed thumb. However, I would like to preserve the radial collateral ligament, which I would transpose onto the preserved thumb. Along with that, in the X-ray, we are not we are able to see the separate epiphysis of the extra thumb. So I would like to remove that and also do a corrective osteotomy for the rotation and the deviation of the metacarpal. Along with this, I would like to do the thenar muscle transfer from the radially placed thumb onto the preserved thumb. This is for the left hand, sir. For the right hand, I would first like to see the joint status. If it is unstable, then I would probably just do a.
Sorry to interrupt. Likita,
again, I
many of people are not unable to see your screen.
Yeah, I think I am able to see, but maybe just make it full screen or in your side.
Yes, sir. I'll just do that.
It is showing in your instead of your face icon.
Actually, we are able to see the screen.
Very
but
small
at times
it is. It
No,
is
no, it's
very
okay.
small.
It's okay.
No, the
At
screen
time it goes.
more tile rather than a full screen.
It is not full screen, and many are putting the message that they could not see properly.
No,
Yeah.
if it is with Shravan, Shravan can do it.
Yeah, it is there with Shravan.
Then he can do it. She can just
I'll project it, ma'am.
yeah.
Otherwise, again, you.
No, the last only the flow chart alone. I think till that time everybody was able. You can repeat the X-ray. Show
Yeah.
the X-ray again.
Yes. Yes.
Anyways, have you assisted cases of thumb duplication?
No, sir.
That's why, because you spoke a lot, and it is actually not so complicated as you presented. So, as sir said, first of all, till you get started, I'll just keep making some comments. One about what the psychometric analysis is. Child is 9-year-old studying in 4th standard, answering your question. You don't need any psychometric analysis. So don't tell things which are just theoretical and you just for the sake of completion. Similarly,
Yes,
the role of MRI.
Yes.
You can justify, but most of the time, do you practically do MRI? So we don't do any MRI. You can see most of the structures clinically, intraoperatively, and X-ray. Of course, you can see on the X-ray by looking at the joint. Yeah,
Go
now
to
we are
X-ray.
yes. So yes, this is. I think if you go by this, you will yourself get confused where to start and. So
Shravan, go to X-ray, sir.
yeah, go back to the X-ray.
Shravan.
No, she can go back. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Can you enlarge the X-ray?
Yes. Basically, you see a good metacarpal, and you see a proximal phalanx, and the distal phalanx and the duplicated, and the proximal phalanx has a
Delta.
small delta phalanx on the radial side. Okay.
Yes.
So let us take one by one. And
Yeah.
as you said, the left-handed, who said they told you left-handed or you assumed left-handed?
No, sir. I was assuming because on the X-ray.
Yeah, so most likely, yes. Your assumption is correct, most likely. So let us go back. So which is, as you said yourself also, cardiac anomaly is more common in the pre-axial or radial side.
Yes.
So you need to rule that out. I think all the investigation which you do for the previous radial club hand is the same here.
Yes.
So the things you need to know when you approach a patient is that number one, what is the classification? Again, all classifications you have to be thorough. So what is the
Yes.
classification you follow?
So
What is the
earlier it was vessel classification. Now recently we started using the Zudheim classification, Rotterdam classification.
Yeah, so no need for Rotterdam because even examiners may not know. So stick to Vassal, and Vassal is still the most classic classification.
Yes.
The reason why newer there is another, not only Rotterdam, there are a couple of more classifications because of there are a lot of thumb anomalies like triphalangeal thumbs and the thumb which has got different anomalies which don't fit into a classic vessel, and that is the reason of why newer classifications came. So going by vessel, the common question is because Adrian Flat, whose resident vessel was, and Adrian Flat, it also goes by the name of Adrian Flat, and he's one of the most respectable hand surgeons of the world. And in fact, in every hand society meeting, there is the resident and fellow course is conducted. It is on the name of honoring Adrian Flat. And so Vessel was just a fellow who picked up all cases of Adrian Flat and then formed the classification. And actually never became a hand surgeon. That's a trivia you need to know that some examiner might ask. So Vessel, tell Vessel classification.
So vessel type 1 is bifid distal phalanx. Type
Yes.
2 is duplicated distal phalanx. Type 3 is bifid proximal phalanx. Type 4 is duplicated proximal phalanx. Type 5 is bifid metacarpal. And type 6
Yes.
is duplicated metacarpal. And type 7 is triphalangeal.
Right. So the easy way to remember, as you would have, as all fellows know, type
odd
1,
number
always odd number is basically split, and the even number will be totally duplicated. So which is the commonest one? That's the next question.
So type 4 is more common.
Yes. So most likely, what did you mention? It's type 4 on the left side?
Yes, sir. In the
Yes.
diagnosis.
So type 4 is the most common, and that is what is present in the left side. And
Can we see left side X-ray, please?
yeah, can you put the X-ray, please? Left side. You
There's
take one by one.
metacarpal duplication.
Yes.
This is type 5, I think.
Yes.
And she said there is a triphalangeal thumb on the radial side. It's not looking triphalangeal to me at least.
So when you zoom in on the
You zoom in.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it.
yes, sir.
Left side. Yeah, that's what. So it is more likely it does look like a
Metacarpal is looking bifid, isn't it?
Yes. She mentioned 5 also.
no, it could be because it's not a classical type 4.
Yeah.
And if you zoom in, there seems to be a double metacarpal and there are 3 phalanges seen. It could be a triphalangeal thumb on the left side also. If you see, there is one distal phalanx, one in between, and there is the proximal phalanx, and the metacarpal is looking thicker on the thumb. So here, basically, what you need to know, of course, you can have various permutation combinations. The first thing you need to know which, as you rightly said, which part of the thumb he is using, because these are all short cases. You need to be very quick and fast. So
Yes.
which part of the thumb they use, and invariably most of them will use the ulnar side. Okay, because if you have identical both, that's the one question which can come. If you have identical ulnar and radial, which one you will retain and which one you will discard?
So the ulnar side, because the ulnar collateral ligament is stronger.
Yes, very good. So you got all the key questions. You have read well. You have prepared well. So it's good. Ulnar collateral is very difficult to recreate. So you retain the ulnar side because ulnar collateral is present, and you shave off from the base, retaining the radial ligament on the duplicated part.
Yes.
So you take the radial collateral ligament, which will be at the base of the thumb, which you are going to discard, and reattach it. And if the joint is unstable, you may need to stabilize the joint. So that should be there, and there is nothing major like a thinner. What you said, no rebalancing thinner and all, because thinner attachment will be there on both. Adapter is already there on the ulnar side, and you are already going to reconstruct the radial ligament. So not much thinner rebalancing is needed. Only shaving of if it is duplicated, you may need to shave it well so that the bump is taken off.
Okay, carpal
So that
bump,
is the key to remember. So
Yes.
that is on the left side. I think that is the question which will be asked. And then coming to the right side, the only thing is OMT
Put
classification.
the right note, please.
Are you
Yeah.
aware of OMT classification?
Yes, sir.
So
Sir, it is Ober-Mansky and Tonkin classification.
very good. So under that classification, where does thumb duplication come?
Sir, it is in the malformations.
Yeah, failure of formation or differentiation.
Yes.
And it affects the radial ulnar. It's a hand plate. So as you know, OMT classification, hand plate is separate.
Yes.
And the rest of the upper limb is separate. So this will be radio-ulnar axis of the hand plate. So
Hand
that's
plate.
what you need to remember. So
Yes.
OMT is more important to remember. Okay, now that having said Rotterdam classification, so what does Rotterdam, or how is it different from the Mansky? The main key part, can you tell?
So the differentiation for the triphalangeal thumb and
Yes.
the symphalangism is also added. So the letters will be added next to the number, so that we'll know if it is a different. Based on it will give a more comprehensive classification.
Correct. So that's what is mainly because the triphalangeal is not given so much sort of weightage and importance, and there are various variations of triphalangeal. So that is why the newer classification all basically addresses that. Okay, as in the previous case of radial club hand, this
Yes.
is happening at what level, or radio-ulnar axis problems happen at what level of the growth or the
The ZPA is the most important for the zone, the polar zone of
So-
polarizing activity.
Correct.
So that
So what is the protein
ulnar
there?
Sorry, sir.
What is the protein? Like every one of them have a, like here you have sonic hedgehog protein.
Sonic hedgehog protein. Yes, sir.
Yes. Good. Sir, you want to ask anything on the left side first before we go to the
I think you covered everything on the left side.
yes,
Right
sir.
side, let us proceed.
Okay. Now come to the right side. Put the right X-ray. So another way of whenever you present, that is for basic presentation. This thing when you put the X-ray, it is always nice to have the X-ray and the clinical photo again repeated, so that you know exactly how it looks in the same picture. Okay, put the right side. Put the photograph. The plan. Okay, the plan is fine. Plan is nearly the same. You operate and you put on a screen. Yes.
Yes.
This is the left side. So the only thing you need to remember here is the incision which you have put across.
Yes.
Don't go across like this. You need to keep some skin.
Yes,
If you
sir.
put, you should not fall shortage of skin on the radial side. So better is to raise a flap.
Yes.
Raise a longitudinal flap proximally based on the radial component. So going rather than going across what you have put here, you
Yes.
raise it on the radial component. You raise it as a flap. Take
Yes.
extra skin. You can raise as long as you want. Discard the remaining skin later on. Practically, you have to sort of skeletonize and fillet off the radial side.
Bone.
Leave
Yes.
all the skin on the as a flap. Remove the bony part, and then adjust this flap back onto the ulnar component. So that is what you need to remember. So if you put incision like this, if it doesn't close, so closure should not be a longitudinal a cut like closure.
Yes.
So it should be like a flap. So it will come nicely, and there will be no vertical line which will cause a contracture later.
Yes.
You raise it like a flap. It will be like a U-shaped flap which will come along the radial. Yes. Now go to the other side. That is only the photograph. Yes. Yes, correct. All right.
Sir, in this I would like to do, so one is the distal phalanx, I would like to do a Bilot-Cloquet procedure.
Right.
So that the split the distal phalanx and the proximal phalanx. So depending on the function, if it is, if I'm able to, if the joint is adequate, then I will do a proximal osteotomy and bring the distal phalanx onto the joint proximal phalanx and put a K-wire. If the joint is not functional or if unstable, then I would like to do an IP joint arthrodesis.
Usually, yes, sir. Sir, you would like to comment on?
No, you're doing all right. Carry on.
Yeah. So this incision, what is a Z-plasty incision on the pulp? Again, here, if you put this vertical incision,
Yes,
of course, there is a lot of skin available here because you're going to discard that part.
yes,
But still, the closure on the inner side, or sorry, outer side, the bone will get exposed. So how do you prevent exposure of bone? You understood, along the nail.
yes, sir.
Going-
So so I thought we'll be removing the bone. So the lateral part of the
Yes, you will
skin that
remove the
is
lateral
preserved.
part, but how do you
Yes.
cover that part of
So
the?
the lateral part of the skin that is preserved will be used for covering the radial most part of the
Correct.
till
So in
most
this,
part of the skin
yeah,
is preserved.
Dr. Likita sir is asking you about the lining of the nail fold. That is a hint I'm giving you.
yes.
Yes.
He's asking not about the rest of the thumb. The lining of the nail fold, what will you do? Anything? Is there a specific maneuver to line it with glabrous skin? From syndactyly.
It's a Bhagramko procedure.
Correct. I think that is what he wants. Am I right, Hari?
Yes, yes. So that is one procedure which you need to know. The
Yes.
second is like what you have done here. It is now there is a modification of billet blockade. You don't excise it in between. You
Yes.
retain the bigger nail as much as possible so
Yes,
that you don't get a nail deformity, and use this paronychial fold as you have shown here. You discard the nail on the smaller side and
Yes,
use
sir.
that paronychial fold to shift it to bring it
Okay.
there.
Yes.
Now just go to the X-ray again of this side, the right side. Yes. 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 Zoom it. Yes. So
Hari, your audio is not good.
mine.
Yeah, now it's okay. Yeah, go on now.
So here now, can you show with your pointer what will you discard? What part of bone?
Sir, actually, I am not presenting, so I don't think I'll be able to show, sir. So the hypoplastic bone on the radial most side, I'll discard.
Okay. Okay. It is coming through. Right. So it's okay. Basic idea you need to in this. You don't have to worry too much about osteotomy. That is not expected out of anybody actually. You only go as you operate. So basic idea is you have to reduce the thickness of the thumb. You have to reduce the nail part, and you have to make the thumb straight as possible.
Able.
In that process, if you have to arthropedize the IP joint, it is acceptable, and
Yes.
then you need to straighten it as much as possible.
Yes, sir.
Good. I think for a short case, this much information is enough. Move to the.
Hari,
Yes, sir.
are you audible? You see the
Yes, sir. GP, sir, please, sir.
extra bone here.
Not audible, sir. Not audible.
Now, are you able to see the extra bone here?
So the
Am I audible now?
Yeah,
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
See the extra bone here.
Yes, sir.
And this is part of the proximal phalanx.
Yes, sir.
What you see in like a clinodactyly,
Yes, sir.
this bone has to be removed before you fix this proximal and this terminal phalanx.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to understand what I'm telling?
Yes, sir. Remove the bone.
Bone, it is the part of the proximal phalanx which has come out.
Correct.
So that has to be excised, and then you have to fix the proximal distal phalanx. This is some sort of a clinodactyly.
Yes, sir.
Or you can take this also as type of a thumb.
So just for the knowledge of all, can you tell what is a delta phalanx?
So in our triphalangeal thumb, there is usually a extra.
Hari, you're not audible again.
Hello, sir.
No, what is a delta phalanx?
Yes, so in a triphalangeal thumb, there is a delta-shaped bone at the radial aspect of the between the DIP and the distal and the proximal
Yeah,
phalanx.
so I expected that answer. So delta phalanx doesn't mean a delta. Of course, it's a delta shape.
It can be
Basically-
rectangular or trapezoidal.
Yeah, so delta phalanx means a longitudinally bracketed diaphysis. So normally the growing end will be on the extreme sides, but here it will be vertical. So longitudinally bracketed diaphysis is called a delta. So you need to sort of break it, and there are various ways of doing it, excising it, breaking it, and putting some fibrofatty graft or things like that. So basically you need to remember what is the delta phalanx. LBD, longitudinally bracketed diaphysis.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's fine. I presented quite well. All the points are well taken.
Yes.
And anytime you have this situation, you say, I'll make my plan, but I will intraoperatively see and decide on the status of the bone and also the status of the ligaments.
Yes,
So
sir.
that should be fine.
Yes.
Yes, we'll move to the next case.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
If you see this X-ray carefully,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
the tip of the proximal phalanx is not shaped appropriately. The joint is likely to be unstable.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Like she said, they might have to do arthrodesis, although I won't do it in the first stage. First
Yes.
stage, I would try to stabilize it. And if I find it does not stabilize, then I would do an arthrodesis. Not in the first stage. Child is very small.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Likita, you presented very well.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir.